Welcome back. Thank you very much for your time. We're truly grateful that you can join us and be a part of the show from 6:30 a.m. right through to 10 a.m. Grateful. Well, welcome to the big conversation, and it starts from now, ends at 10 a.m. We're grateful. The Our guest is a people enabler and so forth. Most of us who are not feeling enabled this morning, we are glad that she's able to come by to teach us some few things before dashing to her ever busy day. I mean, just as I've said always, when you get here, we should be thankful to our God that she comes by, right? The Mami Gaze is the people enabler, of course, the CEO or executive director of 565.
Managing partner.
Oh yeah,
I'm a little girl there.
that's okay. Managing partner for 565 joins us here to walk us through top soft skills that employers are looking for in 2025, obviously, and beyond. And so there's so much happening rapidly around the world. Talk about artificial intelligence. Talk about, I mean, even the questions you are asked at interviews changes over time, and so you need to be abreast with it. And of course, industry is also looking for some skills that you need to know about. And so today we're going straight to the point. Thank you very much. Of course, the people. Prayer Warrior is also here with us. Biadela is also here with us.
Even me, I'm surprised that's my role.
Okay, the people chorus that. The people chorus that. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
You're looking lovely all the time.
Thank you.
I don't know how to give compliments, so maybe you can do that on my behalf.
Yeah, Coco is very terrible with that. But girl, I mean, we love you. However you turn up, your smile lights up the room. So yeah.
Aw, thank you.
Is there any soft skill for compliments like that you can teach me? I mean,
Yeah, so you don't get into trouble at the office?
Yes.
Or harassment?
True. I'll go and say something that could they will sack me from
Land
that.
you into real
Tell
trouble.
your boss that, oh, you look edible.
Some shows.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Anyways, how was your week into the weekend? Now, new week though.
It's been packed for
Okay.
us at 565 because this month up until July, prepping for PA Conference 2025.
Hooray!
And today is our media launch.
Okay.
We are more than excited
Okay.
about that.
Is it specifically for people that you have invited, like
Yes,
special
so
invite?
that's by invite-only event. We are outdooring the 2025 event at the Labadi Beach Hotel. We have our friends from the media like Dominion TV showing up to support with the publicity. So yeah, it's an interesting period, lots of work for us, but we are very excited about what we are doing to prep and pop up the profession of personal and executive assistants.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Talk to me about the issues of skills that employers are looking for in 2025. Have they changed? Why have they changed? Of course, yes, we know one thing that is constant is change, but how have they changed?
Drastically, but they haven't been abruptly.
Okay.
These changes have been coming over a period, we must say. Sometimes we make it sound like we just woke up and these skills have become so relevant. They have been relevant.
Okay.
The importance employers have placed on them has just risen. So in the past, you go for an aptitude test prior to an employment, and the real deal is how high your scores are with your IQ abilities, your technical abilities, your understanding of the work itself. And so we have engineers who don't want to say good morning, good afternoon to anybody. They'll just deliver their work. And we're okay. We'll just take them, deliver value, deliver volumes, and we're good to go. We have shifted since into understanding that in the space of all that, we realize the real key is what we call the hard skills. But I did an article that I said the hard skills that are actually the hard part of the work. Because you realize that very experienced, extremely talented technical people in different ways can come of not so much up the ladder of the corporate hierarchy because they lack some skills.
Okay.
And these range from thinking abilities to people relationship to being able to deal with conflicts, which are ever present no matter where you're working, so long as there are people involved.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. Before Biadola comes in, of course, with the skills, is it not also the case that the most important thing is about the hard skills, the reason why you are there in the first place, where then you can create system that, eradicates friction and enables people to just live and work? Because apart from the fact that I have come to work, there's no other thing that I have to do at the workplace.
Yeah.
Finish and walk away.
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
If you look at your day, you're spending quite some time at work. And it's not just about seated at your desk, but relating to work-related matters.
Right.
People are on the phone, on emails, on social media, with work throughout the day. So in the past, when the focus had been on the technical hard skills, we found that people would complain about how their bosses or the work environment was making them quite alienated. So you find people are completely different at work from what they are in their social life. So that's at home, anywhere else. So we have come to realize that if you're able to deliver an amazing job as a technical person or an administrator or something, and we're not seeing how you're working well with the most important capital, which is the human beings, then there's a problem.
Right.
There's a big problem. Now, when you need to rise to lead others, or in some instances, lead other leaders, then we require you to know just more than that. Because tell you what, we found people who are not technically as astute lead exemplarily an amazing technical team to success. Yeah.
I see. Interesting. Very interesting.
Well, pretty much. I would want you, by way of education, take us through. Koku is talking soft skills and nice skills and all the very amazing things.
Yeah.
But somebody's watching probably for the first time. What are they talking about? I'm looking for a job. I have my certificates. What kind of skill are you looking for? What's the boardroom looking at? What would help in your decision making, right? So if you can just take us through what these things are, these tools that we should have as individuals. Even before we go.
Awesome. So I'll start from where we all know. So we've had this shift from IQ focus to EQ. What is EQ? Emotional intelligence. So whereas people were very interested in scoring very high on the technical tests, now we are looking at people. What is EQ? Who understand their own emotions, know how to manage their emotions, give credence to the emotions of other people, and are able to relate a lot better on that level.
Right.
Let me say that about 5 years ago, this skill would have been a conversation you would have with people going into C-suite. But now, even entry-level candidates are required to be emotionally intelligent. Closely related to that is what we call the SQ, the social intelligence. Have you seen somebody who is so good at their work? And you see that in movies, but they're real. I had an engineer I worked with. You would greet him at the 1,000 decibels. He will mind you. But he was very good with his job. How was he able to manage his people? Literally nothing. His people would complain. If you give the guy a job, he would just deliver. But the people would complain that he alienates them. He doesn't know how to relate. He comes to work moody. He doesn't want to talk to anybody, including his boss.
Probably himself.
So being socially intelligent requires you to be able to know how to relate. And sometimes, especially to our sanguine people, it's not just about rattling and talking to everybody and being happy-go-lucky at the workplace. It's about even knowing when to shut it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And appropriate language. We were talking about it at our intro. What to say, how to say it, how to appear, how to behave, your social manners, your etiquette. Because you don't want to send somebody in the name of the brand. I don't want to send somebody in the name of 565 to a dinner and Coco will call me, Mommy, where did you find this girl from?
Ouch.
But these are important skills people take for granted. Oh, I'm being me. Me, this is how I am. I just like to talk like that. No. You need to know how to speak. You need to know how to behave. You need to know how to comport yourself. It's not about being stiff and inflexible. It's about being know when and how to do what.
Where there's, before we go to maybe probably the next skills,
Yeah.
where do we situate the issues of individual differences where you accommodate that everyone cannot be the same?
Yeah.
That just as you said, to an extent that you're able to identify others who can accommodate the excesses of others. Where do you situate that?
So when people are coming up with your own individual selves, we encourage that a lot at the workplace because it allows them to thrive. But there are norms. People, don't let us overemphasize on the individualism as well, because when the business or enterprise is going out, Dominion TV goes out on the back of a certain brand that is out there, that is known. There's a certain expectation of the behavior of the people that claim relationship with this brand. So there's a certain expectation of a norm behavior. So come as you are, I'm here sitting here as Mami Kwagezi. But if I have to act in my room, maybe the Mami Kwagezi will just sit on the floor and just, dig my fingers into my rice and go at it. But when I appear at a dinner in the name of 565 or for the Mami Gezi, there has to be a bit of posh around it. It's not about pretending, it's just about knowing what to
Exactly.
do, when to do it, and how to do it.
Okay.
So accommodate the individualism. So people come differently. So we're at dinner and there's somebody who is talking a bit more. There's somebody who is a bit more quiet. But it's not about the excesses. It's also not about the extreme withdrawal. So accommodation, yes, but know that when you get into certain spaces, there are requirements for the norms.
Very important. Very important.
Interesting. So emotional intelligence,
Intelligence.
social intelligence.
Yes.
I'm thinking communication.
Yes, we
lot
will have
more.
communication as well.
Well, how do you, how should probably a new person, an intern, right, communicate even with their bosses? What are the first two things you say to somebody who is your boss? Because somebody comes close to you and the first 2 minutes you get a new job. The first 2 minutes, you lose your current job.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Awesome.
Yeah, I really want that because some young people just don't know what to say. Oh, he's an old person. But he's expecting that you say something,
Yes.
so he's able to pick where your mind is at, right? So what do we do in
So
that
Della
light?
walks in. Della is my new employee, coming in as a communications coordinator, entry point role in my organization. You've come for an interview, so you have or may have met me. So now you have a name to the person.
Right.
Now determine before you get into that space. And when I say determine, not by yourself, but by the culture of the organization, what the going references are.
Right.
I've worked in a lot of places where the MD to the cleaner, everybody goes by first name.
Right.
So I walk into an organization, these are multinationals, big multinationals, everybody calls Greg, everybody. It doesn't matter. 54-year-old, your first name. It doesn't matter. But in that same organization, there were particular individuals that took offense to first names by young people like us. So when you go in and you realize everybody is referring to Mr. Lumo, you don't go up and say, because you called somebody the first name, Koku? No. So learn. So you come in first, you greet, good morning, madam. You cannot go wrong with that. As the day and the week goes by, you figure that Mommy actually doesn't mind being called Mommy. So, good morning, Mommy. And it's fine. And you realize she responds. That's okay. But use the safer end of the bureaucratic radar. I would advise that. So Della comes in. Good morning, ma'am. How are you, ma'am? I'm very well. How are you, Della?
I'm great.
Wonderful. Welcome to 565.
Don't ask me those questions. Don't ask me these questions on air. I beg you.
It's a pleasure, man.
I beg you.
Look, we're role playing.
Welcome. We are excited to have you.
It's a pleasure.
We are excited to have you join the team. Yeah.
Now, the other one has to do with the acknowledgement of internal and external communication.
Right.
Wonderful.
If you do not build these systems, you find you going after people for what probably they've not done or they don't even know. And so as much as we are looking at communicating these things to the employees, maybe you can help the employers as well, because you walk into some places and there's no communication system at all, internally and externally. So it is only when you go wrong that you are called and say, you have done these wrong things.
Right.
It has happened to us, and I totally can agree. When you assume that when you have a graduate that has especially studied communication, that they would know what to write and how to write it. So I got somebody send an email and copied me, and immediately I saw it. I was like, may I see you? But it was late. It had gone out. Client has received it. So what you do as part of orientation is to already begin to tell the new entrants, if you need to send out communication, if you do have a guideline, that would help. If not, can I check your, and it's not about micromanaging.
Okay.
Can I check your comms before they go out? So we do that and we work around it. This is how we sign off. Have you ever received an email from somebody and they've used acronyms and you're wondering, what does this mean? Because inside the organization, it is understood. But we tend to think that everybody outside the organization also understands it.
yeah.
No. So you need to already groom the entrant team members to say, when you're speaking internally, when you're writing communication internally, this is what you can do, this is what you can say. But when things have to go out, please be mindful of language. Address people properly, because you never know how those people would prefer. So I'd prefer, when you're writing out, always use, say, madam. You can't go wrong with those. Let the person come back and say, oh, you can call me Coco. You can call me Biadella. You can refer to me as Mami. Then it's fine. But be on the side of caution. Yeah. Before you send something, you say, I'm sorry, I don't take kindly to you calling me by my first name. That would be an offense. So I'd prefer that employers also groom the entry people. If you don't have a communication strategy or guideline, it's okay to start looking at what is going out and making sure that it is according to what you would prefer on your brand before it does. So we don't throw our new employees under the bus. And sometimes they are not just entry level. They might be senior people who have no clue because they are used to a certain way. So we can guide them properly. So that's on
Beautiful.
communication.
I'm thinking problem solving and maybe critical thinking. How do you rate that? Because we absorb things differently.
Yeah.
We're all expected to probably produce results, a certain result at the end of the month.
Yes.
Right. But maybe the method, how Koku would pick up stuff, but maybe by the time I will catch up, he's already gone. He's the boss's favorite. Already, pet PV. How do, people who gradually warm into roles or warm into maybe catching up with KPIs, how should they manage, when it comes to people who are like seemingly smart?
They could be very smart. So let's say this. This is where I come in to say, find your anchor skills.
Okay.
Because Biadella, on the back of what you've just described, this seemingly smart or actually extremely smart person might not have a skill that you, that seem to be a bit slow to catch up, may have.
Right.
So get your own soft skills, anchor them, and use them in ways that can progress your career amazingly. So let's go into critical thinking. Look, on a daily basis, you're bombarded with so much information in this age. You have so much. Now, if I ask people to, something happened last week where we're supposed to get onto a call. And everybody is going into AI. We are all finding information and things like that. We finish and we realize that there was quite a similarity. So my team and I sat and I'm like, this is interesting. It can put your boss in a very bad light. Where you've produced a set of communication that has already been delivered by the first speaker. It can be quite a bit.
Right.
So you need, as an individual in the workplace, to be able to synthesize a lot more than we would have in the past, where the book was from the management gurus. And everybody knew that if you were taking it from there, then that's it. But you're getting so much information. I'm sitting here, you're asking me about soft skills. The people watching me, immediately you put the topic out, are already online. They are checking it out. So what do I bring as an added value? Is my actual experience and ability to look at all the information available out there and make sure that anybody watching us, be you at entry level, mid-level, or senior level, can relate and pick at least one nugget out that you can use in your career. So we are looking at critical thinking from a perspective of there's so much information out there. How are you able to apply thought to that information, glean proper insights, and use that in your organization to solve problems? That's basically it. I have moved from creative problem solving to creative problem creation. That's how we are making money now. I'll create a problem for you. Yeah. Because otherwise you will never have a problem. Yeah. I have clients that say, oh, we don't have a way, okay. I'll create a problem for you.
Yeah.
That's a soft skill.
Right.
Yeah, I create problems, then I come and support you. It's not a bad thing. It is basically studying what you're doing, your current business, and giving you an insight into things that you probably don't wake up thinking about.
Yeah.
They exist. I'm not coming to I'm not a saboteur. I'm not putting in these problems, but I'm just averting your thoughts into things that you don't think are impacting your profitability. Like culture, and saying, can we look at what is eating away on your investment? Let's get at it. Let's work with the people. Let's make sure that we have the right environment, we have the right values at work, and let's go. So that will be something I'll think about. Now, in that space, or closely related to that, is agility. Because a lot of people are so stuck and overwhelmed with too much information. You go on YouTube, somebody's saying this, somebody's saying that, and this person says that. There's so much. Sometimes you finish, and the next sensible thing to do is to just sit. And that's what drives people into inactivity.
Okay.
Because they are overwhelmed.
Right.
And truly, if you're overwhelmed, you just don't want to do anything. So agility is not just about speed. It's also about your ability to think through. Look at what is happening. What changes have happened since last week? Pick up these changes because like Biadela said at the opening, that's the constant. So pick up these changes. What do we do to progress? Make those changes and move quickly. Sometimes you will not be as fast as your competitor, but how you are able to, you don't also want to say that because you're not as fast, you're never going to move. We are looking for progress over perfection.
Right.
So, yeah, so we've spoken about emotional intelligence.
Yes, so
we've
true.
looked at social intelligence. We've looked at communication internally, externally. We've looked at critical thinking. And closely related to that is an agility.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I see. Are there more? But of course, I think we can open the phone lines as well
Yes.
for people who want to call in. You can call in from anywhere, Nigeria, Kenya, wherever you're watching us from, especially in the 48 African countries where we are existent. You can call us. She's able to reach anywhere, and so if you want her as well,
Yes.
we could still do that. Before we get to speak about how people can acquire these skills, are there more that we can
I would like us to go through something that I really like for people to understand.
Please
now.
do.
Systems thinking.
Okay.
Yes. I know that people are specializing. I mean, a lot of people are saying, be so good at this one thing that everybody comes to you. Now, when I'm being so good at that one thing, especially if you're working in a team, I need to know how my being so good at this thing affect everybody's job.
Okay.
And how their roles or jobs affect this my one thing that I'm super good at, systems thinking. It's about being able to understand. I sit with people. Last week I was having some exit interviews and I'm talking to somebody and I could hear from the feedback they were giving, which was very good because they're exiting. And I needed those information and they weren't new because there were things that we kept talking about. But I realized that there was a lack of understanding of the whole. Because they were very interested in what their interests and purview were, but they didn't understand the whole of the business. So understanding, if you go into an enterprise, what is the business of that organization?
Okay.
How do we make money? How do we spend money? If you understand these two things, you'll be friends with the accountant every time. And every leader, anybody who is looking to rise in the corporate space needs to understand the business of the business. So I worked as an HR person in a manufacturing space. We made and sold beer. So I go out, Beer Della meets me. Hi, mommy. Hello. How are you? What do you do? I don't say I am an HR person. I say I make and sell beer. That's what makes money. Understand what we do in this business and what makes us money. That's what your focus should be. So everything you do in that organization should be linked to that specific business activity.
Where a case where there are other locations where you are not able to first hand, I mean, real time, get to know about what they do, and of course you can just read it. Are you advising that you just learn on the books, especially when the locations are scattered, or endeavor to walk out of where you are, go from your site to another place to learn?
A mixture.
A mixture.
A mixture of that. Ask questions. We are so afraid to ask questions because we come off as not being as smart. But you're not figuring it out. I like to ask questions. It's part of my introduction that I'm very curious. I like to ask questions because it gives me clarity. With clarity comes ability to deliver the most relevant things. They are all soft skills. Yes, building clarity, especially for leadership. Your ability to clearly define where we are going, how we need to get there, what's the most important things for the team today is a big deal.
Interesting. So finally, how do we build these skills?
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking
How
about.
do we pick them up? For a lot of people, we don't teach these things in school.
No.
This is a
No, please.
hard one. So how do young people who are watching, people like us, pick these skills up if we don't have them yet?
Yeah. So my first go-to, especially if you're in school, is to find you a mentor,
Okay.
find you a coach, be open to learning. We have so much access to social media and watch a lot of the videos for the sake of them. When you watch, actually learn. So you're watching us maybe after the show on YouTube. Just make sure that you're listening and learning. The second thing will be to invest in internship. We've had a session here where we've spoken about the importance of internship. So if you didn't, go back into the archives and watch that video. I was here with my brother, John. It was an amazing session. So build the capacity in internships. Beyond that, when you go into the space of work, be willing to understudy.
Okay. I only hope Lord is willing to understudy us today. Lord is calling us from Greater Estate. Lord, if you can hear us, good morning and thanks for your time.
Good morning. In fact, I just tuned in and I realized that the program you guys are doing is very fantastic. Your best and the kind of lecturing she's giving concerning skills and giftings are amazing. I just want to ask, how would you be able to identify your gift? How would you be able to identify your skills? And how would your skills be able to affect your team positively?
Right. Thank you very much, Lord. You can also call us. The numbers are on the screen. Call us. Let's know what you think about the show and your questions.
I love the question. How do you know that these are the skills you have? You should actually take time to sit and ask yourself. And this shouldn't happen only when you're in the workplace. So right from school. And if you're already working, Lord, what you need to sit down to ask yourself is, what comes to me very easily? What is natural? You sometimes just relate with people without that level of angst. You know how you go to a place and you're saying, that's the boss, zip. And then there's this person that's able to, hello, sir. How are you, sir? You know, they just have the ability and they're able to do it. Understand what comes to you naturally, easily, and what you do with that. If you sat down to list, and if I gave you maybe 10 minutes, you could list about 5 of them. Or you are able to quickly, somebody tells you something, you quickly think about Team 360. Oh, this is what they would do if I took this decision. That's system thinking. So they don't even have to be in official, big corporate setup. In our everyday life. You know, sometimes you sit with somebody and you say something, the person will start thinking about, but if we did this show this way, or if we had this kind of host, this is the impact. These are the kind of audiences. And this is how the technical people work with this, you know. So they think quickly about the whole, so that's systems thinking. People are able to quickly move on. Some people stay back in complaining about why have you changed it? Why don't I do this? Why can't I do that? That's agility. So sitting to understand what comes to you easily, what are you able to do without a lot of stress would be able to get you to a place where you understand, okay, these are some of the skills. You may not be able to name them as you are assessing, but if you got help, then you would be able to say, when I go into my next interview, when I'm speaking with the next person that I'm looking for an opportunity with, I'll say that I am a person that has so and so skills. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm thinking, how can we take this to the church?
Yeesh. I like it. I like
Right?
it.
Because we have different people coming from different places with different spiritual and physical needs. And we have pastors who probably might not know how to manage these things, and also church people who might not even know how to relate with these. So you have people leaving certain churches because they feel like, I've not been attended to. I feel left out. Why is he not prophesying to me? Or you know,
like that.
all of these. Mommy, how do we take this
Yeah.
to church?
In fact, the church is the one place where we have the multiplicity of needs. It's shocking how. But I also think that it is the one venue where a lot more can be learned. Because I work in ministry, okay? And sometimes when you hear feedback, you know that, oh my God, it's probably one of the most difficult places to serve.
Right.
Ask church workers, those who work in the church offices, the needs that come and the feedback, because you think you're turning yourself inside out, you're doing everything you can. And the person comes and says, I didn't go any of it. So you need to understand that people come to the church, as we always say, like a hospital.
Right.
We all have our problems. We are coming for some sort of aid.
Solution.
Exactly. Now, if we take that mindset into running ministry, we would realize that, we actually don't have the ability to support everybody at the same time, but we
Okay.
can do a thing at a time, where we are able to seek the audience of the people and basically show them the way to enhance what they have. So let's say we are in the youth ministry,
Yeah.
and you have quite a number of job waiters. And these job waiters are looking for things that will bring them towards getting closer to the workplace. And we see that, no, this person could do better if they were able to properly articulate that skill. Yeah. And that skill comes off, very sharply. But they can't seem to even say it. What do? You bring the person in. Sometimes I speak about mentorship and people think I overemphasize. But mentorship is one of the things that can accelerate a lot of people's growth. So who do we have in the ministry who can support this young man or young lady who has amazing digital skills to be able to even articulate it? And that's communication. So we pick this individual and say, I see you're very good at this. Can you tell me what you do?
Right.
And as the person is talking, you begin to see that, no, they can't say exactly. I would say, write it and send it to my email. And the first thing that hits me is how you introduce it. Because I get emails and the person will just attach or write the full prose in the mail. Then I know where to start from.
Right.
So in the space of ministry where we have a lot of talents, where we have multiplicity of needs, we probably need to begin to build conscious support systems for especially young people that are job waiting or professionals that are finding that they are stalking along their growth journey. Yeah.
We're still speaking to the Mami Gacy of 565, and we are excited that she's here. Let's do two more before probably we could end up. The first one has to do with this more generic question. So what are now that we have looked at the soft skills and what you have to be looking at, what are the employers complaining about these days about the employees and entrants who are coming in? Maybe that could also give us a fair idea of how to plan as we go into these interview rooms.
One of the things that we have, and especially with my favorite generation, Gen Zs, is attention.
Okay. Attention where?
Yes, attention, just paying attention.
Wow.
Hi, mommy. Yes, ma'am. Could you please come to my office? Yeah, okay, all right. Person is barely looking into your face.
At work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm shocked though, but I'm not shocked. At work, people
Yes.
are doing that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. No, but if you're doing that regularly with your friends at restaurants,
Oh,
I go out
chances are that
and
you do.
even at church, after church, you see them lined up by the wall like this, and everybody's like, young people. In the past, we'll be chatting, we'll be talking, running around, just staying.
Yeah.
No, everybody's like this.
That's very, very true.
So attention. And because the person is not paying clear attention, yes, ma'am, yes, please, yes. They've said yes like 50 times. And then they send you the document. The address is wrong. They have some detailing that is appearing that's not supposed to appear. It's just, yeah. So attention. So you're finding that the few young people who have the presence of mind and person to properly even sit and listen to things that are not directives for work are beginning to win the hearts of many managers. That, this young person, at least he listens. At least he pays attention. And guess what? Your manager is more likely, people, to forgive your mistakes and errors if they find that you're paying attention to what they were saying. Because the hurt is, I was telling you, you didn't listen, and you've got to do exactly what I was asking you not to do. So attention.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not something that you will see anywhere, but we talk about it all the time. People are worried that young people are not paying as close attention to what they are doing because of their technology or appliances or gadgets, sorry. The next thing will be stayability. I was discussing with Biadela one of the days how I have this passion in my heart for grooming young women. But I'm telling you, I'm tired. Like, I'm just so tired. Because I told Biadela, I'm like, these people will come to you, scream about this problem and that problem, cry. And then you say, okay, can we do A, B, C, D? Koko, before you go to step 2, the person has given up and gone off. So stayability. Because we are in such a trend, and you're hearing on social media, if you can't, for the sanity of your mental ability, just walk.
Oh my gosh.
Just walk.
That walk is a walk.
And they are walking, and they are starving, and they are getting homeless.
Then they are putting pressure on men.
It's not even men.
face.
The men themselves are working with the girls.
Oh,
yes.
Lord Jesus.
The young men themselves.
So no one is staying.
No. So stayability. Because you might think that, this is 2025. But when you come for an interview, and I find that you have embedded a bit, there's a richness to that experience I'm interested in. And every employer is interested. We're not saying stay for 5 years, 10 years. You're not a baby boomer. We don't expect that. We'll be worried. Which kind of Gen Z is staying for 5, 10 years? Or
What's
even a
wrong with you?
millennial. Even we are not staying.
At all.
Yeah.
So it's critical that we have. And that stayability then tells a lot about your ability to withstand pressure, which will come wherever you go. This problem you're running away from, the next one will be double. So the ability to stay comes directly with your ability to withstand pressure. And that tells me that you have a strong resistance to unnecessary pressures. And that's attractive for leadership roles.
I see. The issue of critical thinking. Who is the assessor of critical thinking? I don't know who can assess critical thinking. How do they do that? So much so that when you are preparing to be a critical thinker, what must you do? Because critical thinking is critical thinking.
It's critical.
It is critical. 2 things. It will be based on context.
Okay.
Where are you? What is required here? And what kind of thinking process is required of you? Then it will be based on generalities.
Right.
Look, you listen to how someone is asking questions. how somebody is responding to questions, and you can tell that this person thinks critically. It's very easy for us to applaud people who speak fluently, they are talking plenty. Then you sit and listen.
No substance.
What exactly have they said? You know, and that's why I am very slow to brush off people who are slow speakers.
Right.
I've sat in interviews and I'm telling you, and this is not a generalization,
Yes.
but I've seen some of the most intelligent people being stammerers or stutterers, depending on which of the
yes,
globe
of
you
course.
are. Yeah. So the person is so intelligent. Guess what? Last week, my little boy was telling me, there's a boy in his class like that. And when I asked him, so how is he? Guess what he says? He's an alpha. He says, he's one of the people in my class. I said, of course he's in your class. What does that? I mean, Mama, he's one of the people.
People. Means
Yes,
the
it means
guy-
like
the guy-
when
the
we
guy
call,
get head.
when we call
The guy get
names.
head.
It's not statistic.
No, he appears. And he's a
Wow.
stammerer. So I've had interview sessions where the person has come and you know how when they are tensed, everything seems to go off in terms of
Yes.
the vocal ability. Pull the
Aptitude
the
test, like
no,
all
I
that.
just pulled the what you call it, the flip stand.
Okay, right.
Give the person a marker. Whew,
Okay, right.
geniusity.
Wow.
So it also behoves on us looking out for these skills to know that you can't glean them one way.
Yeah.
It's not only one way to understand it. So your question of how to assess and who assesses
Exactly my
is
point.
that you, the person looking for that skill, must know that people will come
Yeah.
with that skill
Yeah.
in different packages.
Exactly.
You must be able, as an individual looking to get that skill, to be able to assess it.
Exactly.
If you don't have the skills to figure out this person is critically thinking and not rehashing social media, AI text, and then that's a problem on you.
Yeah.
Because then you get a critical thinking and let the person go and pick somebody who can babble on
Yeah.
without properly thinking.
Yeah, glad you shared those thoughts. Because really, I'm here thinking aptitude test. Of course, I don't know whether some of them are even repeated. I could do a
Most
lot.
of them.
Exactly.
Most
So I
of
could
them.
just go
Yes.
read online, get to research, and come and
That's
pour it
it.
for you.
Yes.
Meanwhile, just putting a problem statement there and asking me how I can just quickly maneuver and manage these systems and navigate the complexities could tell you clearly what I can do. And so I'm glad you came through. Yeah.
But I'm thinking
You're
about.
smart. You're smart.
Okay.
No, you're
That's
smart.
when
When Mr. Lumos says that, I'm like, okay, let me.
What if you seem a lot smarter than
Yeah.
the employer?
I like that. I like that.
And there's a saying that I picked up when I entered the university from one of my lecturers, Mr. Sarpo, and he says
Right.
that there are a couple of ways to look wiser and smarter without being. One is to pretend. By the time that people find out, okay, you've had a bit of leeway. The other way is to actually work with a lot of them. When you enter a place and you think that you're smarter, it's almost like thinking you're smarter than your mom. It can come off as nice. You know, like you figured it out. You know what's up. You can, only to realize that people could be searching you out. So be mindful. Yeah. In corporate spaces, you could be the best thing that has happened now, but it won't be forever. And mind you, just like in soccer, individual brilliance can get a certain result. It's the team collective brilliance that wins consistent. And we've seen it over and over again. Over and over again. So when we are recruiting, I do competence-based assessments
Great.
for interviews and things. And I also do diverse and inclusive. It's not about the letters. This is about thinking. Where you're sitting around, and the more we think alike, the less we are getting for the business. There has to be enough diversity in our appreciation of a problem, of a solution, of an approach for us to get further. So if all of us think that going to Accra is about hitting the Accra Mall and going this way, then there's a problem. Somebody has to think differently for us to be able to glean the most out of the process. So when you enter a space and you look like, or you think, or you figured you're smarter than your employer. It could be your boss, but it can't be the whole enterprise. You need to calm it and gladly sip it through. And you know, sometimes some smart people come off so beautifully, and some, hey, they'll make everybody around the table feel, mama.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
your fancy.
it's been a good time, as always. Always a good time.
Oh, time really flies.
Yes,
So
it does, and we're glad that you came. We're glad that you came. The Mami Gezi is People Enabler, and of course, the managing partner of 565. I hope I got that now.
you did.
I'm getting smarter by day.
You are smart. You are so smart. And Dela is
Yeah, but of course, if you need Mami anywhere close to your company, he's not as expensive as she looks. I mean, expensive is relative, but I mean, you can still. For us, it's very expensive. For you, you can manage.
Yeah.
You can manage, and so you can contact. Of course, we're looking forward to the media launch as well at 3 p.m. today.
3 p.m. today
Right.
at Labadi Beach.
Strictly by
yes.
invitation, so-
Yes, but we will be streaming online, so on
Oh,
our
okay,
social
okay,
media
that's
handles.
fine. A
Exactly.
big thanks to the Bank Hospital
Thanks.
for coming through, and also Aqua Clear Mineral Water, and also Gino Tomato Mix. We're grateful. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. Of course, hope you learned something. My name is Koku Lumo, and I'll be back tomorrow as well.
And my name is Bia Dela. I wish I could say Bia Dela. See you tomorrow. Bye.